Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Clonks and welcome to another episode of my FC24 Manchester United career mode. If you missed any of the last episodes, I have got a link in the description for my current playlist, so head back and watch them before we move on through this one. If you have seen the last episode, then you will know that we started our Premier League season with 2 losses and a victory against Nottingham Forest. We also lost Anthony to a 7-month injury, which was a bit disappointing, which means we have to go back into the transfer market. But before we jump into that, I just want to show you a little bit of a tweak I've done on the sliders. I realised that I wasn't quite using the right one, so I've done a little bit of tweak. Feel free to pause and look at what I have changed, but there it all is for you. So first off, we had 2 offers for Rasmus Højlund, one from Athletic Club and the other from Brighton. We rejected both of them. Then it was time for me to have a look at an Anthony replacement. Now, I had Gnabry on there anyway because we almost went for Gnabry but decided to go for Kubo. So then I decided to add Daniel Marlon, who's someone United are very heavily linked with in real life, and Chiesa, another player who has been mentioned around the club. Also, we were looking at Adeyemi, another player who United I haven't seen too much links with in real life, but it's a player who I think could fit that role. And we also looked at Rafinha, another player who has moved from Leeds to Barcelona, who United are currently linked with. So then deadline day came, and I hadn't finished scouting a couple of those players, so I decided that the player that I wanted to go for was Daniel Marlon. He's a player who United are very heavily linked with, and it's the player who I think United will probably try and sign in this January transfer window, I think, but we decided to go for him this summer. So I had to go in for him a little bit blind. I offered a 41 million deal. They actually came back wanting Anthony. Now I was like, interesting, he's injured for 7 months. Decided, no, I'm not going to go ahead with that. And actually went in with a 42.5 million offer, which they straight up accepted. Then we had to kind of offer him wage, and thankfully he actually asked for what. So we went with a 4-year important contract. He actually wanted 84,000. I decided to try and offer him 87. In the end, they wanted 94,000. So we accepted that, and there was confirmation of our deadline day signing of Daniel Marlon to replace Anthony for the next 7 months. Then I decided to convert him into a right winger because it only took 2 weeks, and that's where we were going to play him. And then in deadline day, nothing much else happened apart from these 2 offers for Garnacho and Wan-Bissaka, which both of them I rejected because those players weren't going anywhere. So here's a rundown of all the big deals that have happened in this transfer window now the deadline day is over. So Bernardo Silva going to PSG, Trent going to Real Madrid, Gavi going to Juve, Berardi going to Liverpool, Reece James going to PSG, as well as Upamecano. Hakimi's gone to Liverpool, Marino to Roma, Mendes to Manchester City. There's confirmation of Sancho going to Leipzig from us, and Kubo coming in. De Paul's gone to Newcastle, Marlon coming in for us, and then there's the rest of it. Feel free, obviously Inacio and Nesri gone to Spurs. Feel free to pause and have a more in-depth look on these, but this was the rest of the transfers this summer. So then it was time to head into our first game of this episode against Arsenal in the Premier League. So that was their team going into this, going with a 4-3-3, and this was my team. Went up with a little bit of a rotation, but I thought it was enough to get the job done. So early on in the game, Odegaard runs at us and loses the ball, Casemiro with a good win, and Odegaard lashes out and actually in the 3rd minute gets himself a well-deserved red card. He was off. It was a really bad challenge and it actually gave us confidence. 3 minutes in, we were already a man ahead. But then a couple of minutes later, it was actually Arsenal that came at us with Saka cutting inside and gets a shot away. Thomas Partey gets a shot away and Onana with a good save. And then later on in the second half, nothing really happened in between that and this. It was actually Arsenal coming at us again, which was disappointing for me. I thought maybe we could kick on, but we had a poor game so far. Saka turns it back to Zinchenko, who takes a strike, and Onana has a save to end the first half. Now, early on in the second, Holland wins it up high with a good press, gets the ball back, shoots and forces a save from Ramsdale. It was a big chance there. Then we get another chance with Casemiro, but he can't find his man. And Arsenal came at us, was in check, replaced to Martinelli, who finds a nice ball through to Jorginho, and it's actually Arsenal who take the lead in the 67th minute, which was very disappointing on my part. It was a good finish, but considering they were one man down from 3 minutes, we really should have been doing better. Rice then gets a strike away late on, but that is actually how the game finishes, and we actually lose 1-0 in a very disappointing game for us. It was a very poor game. There was confirmation of Marlon turned into a right wing and actually goes up an overall. So then it was time to play Brighton. So this was the Brighton team heading into the second game, and this was my team. I went with a bit of a stronger team this time because we really needed 3 points in this one. So early on, again, we playing her on the back, and another disgusting challenge from Boadu this time, and it's red card galore in this episode because it's another red card for the opposition. I don't know what they're doing, but they're slicing in hard, and well-deserved red card again. So then from that, Mount wins the ball high up, and this time Gerrity gets the ball over to Marlon. We can actually make that one man extra pay, and Marlon finishes off and makes it 1-0 inside 10 minutes in this game. A really good finish, good ball across, and what a strike to make it 1-0. Then not long later, Adingra takes a strike from the edge of the box and scores. A really good strike, but just like that, we're level again. Disappointing. And they actually get another chance here with João Pedro forcing a save from Onana in the 30th minute. And just before the end of the first half, there was a chance for us with Marcus Rashford getting the ball over to Gerrity, takes a strike, poor finish in the end. So then early on in the second half, we end up fighting for the ball. Bruno Fernandes gets a strike away and puts it wide. Disappointing. And then we actually win a free kick then late on in the second half in the 82nd minute from a handball. So Bruno Fernandes decides to float this ball in. A nice little cross in, who finds Gerrity, who finishes nicely and makes it 2-1. And we can actually finally make an extra man count, because I think there's been 3 games now where we have gone one man extra and haven't won the game. But this time we have won the game 2-1 and a good victory. So then let's head into the final game of the episode. It was our first Champions League game against Bayern Munich. So there's the Bayern Munich team, and this was my team. My team was a little bit rotated, but I thought, you know what? Let's go with Højlund and Garnacho and hopefully get the job done. But that's not how the game started. Reguilon with a really poor mistake, and Kimmich finds a nice little dink over the goalkeeper, and we go 1-0 down. Again. Not a good start to the Champions League campaign. And then nothing really happened until the 35th minute then, when Højlund turns his man, gets a good strike away, but Neuer with a save. And then just before half-time, Reguilon cuts inside, gets the ball across, De Ligt gets the header, Lindelof gets another header and it's a good save, and they get it away. And from that breakaway, they actually get a chance themselves, with Harry Kane playing it to Sane, who cuts back inside, takes a strike, and forces another save from Onana. Then early on, they get a corner. Mount can't clear his line. Alphonso Davies forces another strike for Onana. Where would we be without Onana? I don't know. He's had so many big saves already this season. Then in the 74th minute, nice bit of play from Bayern Munich. They just kept playing it around me. 1-2 touch passing. Plays it back inside to Goretzka, who then plays it back across to Sane, who makes it 2-0. Really good, but really good going for Bayern Munich. They just played the ball around us. We could not cope with their passing. And there was confirmation of 2-0. And then late on then they have one more chance where it's Gnabry who forces Lindelof to block it off the line, but we actually do end up losing that game 2-0, and not a good start to our Champions League campaign. And this is how the table looked after that. We were bottom of the table, Bayern Munich win, and the other 2 teams drew. And this is how the Premier League table looked at the end of this episode. We're in 10th. And there's the rest of it, with Liverpool actually top of the table to end this episode. In the next one, we will face Burnley, Southampton in the Carabao Cup. Start out offensive, that considering United won last season. And Crystal Palace at home. Hopefully we can get we could advance in the Carabao Cup and get another 6 points. It's big. We should be getting 6 points in those 2 games. But that's where this episode will end. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like on this episode, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more from my channel. But I will see you guys in the next one, where we will hopefully get another couple of points in the league. But until then, see you guys.